ever taken on any day of your life, you've been flying along on his gift of life. Constant giving, constant giving. And that's what we all do. As kids, we just fly along, eyes up, hands open. We just receive. That's all we do. That's all babies do. They just lay there and they just eat and poop. That's all they do ever. And no parent is upset about it, right? Anybody who has been a parent and had a baby, nobody's mad at the 1-year-old because nobody's like, dude, grab a mop. Just pull your weight. You're a year old. None of us do that. Why? Because that's what life is about. You just receive, and no parent minds because you give and give and give, and that is life. And that's what God does to us. Every one of us, we didn't deserve life. We were just given and given and given. And every day that we've wasted, we wake up in the morning, he's still giving and giving and giving and giving. And we fly along on that. But every single one of us at some point does this. We're flying along on life, and then we feel our toes drag on the bottom, and we realize, whoa, wait a minute. I can plant my feet. I can stand up. I don't have to eyes up, hands open. I don't have to go where God takes me. I can plant my feet. And now, instead of looking up at the one who matters, now I'm looking around. And now I see, I want this relationship, so I fight the current, and I grab at that. I want this person, I want this job, I want this paycheck. I want this lifestyle. I want this from God. And your feet are planted. And suddenly, what was life, just racing along, receiving every minute, is now you, planted, resisting that all day long, day in, day out. And some of you adults know exactly what I'm talking about. That sums up your life. Yep, at some point, I planted my feet and I said, no, I know what I want out of life, and I'm going to get it. And the problem is, that isn't life. When you plant your feet and decide what you will get from this life, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a grown-up, it doesn't matter. As soon as you plant your feet and you're resisting real gift, real receptivity, real life, you slowly die. It takes a long time. It's exhausting. Have you ever gotten to the end of your day and you're just a sour face, just so angry, just constipated? You look constipated. You woke up in the morning, nothing went wrong, and you're a jerk all day. People will be nice to you, and you hate it. Have you ever had those days? People will be like, how are you? And like, oh, you're gonna be nice? Like, it's just, teenagers, you'll get home, and you walk in the door, and your parents are like, hi, and you're like, you're not my real dad, and then you're off. Throwing things in your room. Hey, will you take out the garbage? I'm gonna burn the car to pieces. I'm gonna cut the brake line. You guys, adults do it just in a quiet, passive-aggressive way. Honey, are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. No, you're not, because your face just had a seizure. Something's not right. We all do it, and you know why? 9 times out of 10, some of you are having that day right now, and you're like, he will not stop talking. 9 times out of 10, if you go home on a day like that, a day when everyone let you down, oh, everyone's horrible. 9 times out of 10, if you go sit on the edge of your bed and you make a list of why you're upset because you didn't get what you wanted. Child or grown up, priest, laity, it's all the same. If you're really miffed at the world, oh, well, if my spouse would this, if my parish would this, if God would this, if my teachers would this, if my boyfriend or girlfriend would do this, if my coach would just do this, if, and all it is us planted, trying to grab from the world, and they're not paying up, and so we're upset. And the reason that exhausts us is because that is not what life is for. That is not life. That doesn't get us close to Christ. It doesn't get us close to love. It doesn't get us anywhere because we've stopped moving. And we're just anchored in our own will. And it's exhausting. And we think, well, yeah, but this is just mild. It's not going to be my whole life. My great-grandma is 103. She has no signs of ever dying. It's the weirdest thing. She has no illness. Recently, she did say to me, I just feel so old. I'm like, you are, Grandma. You're so old, Grandma. She's like, I get worried I'm gonna die. I said, you're going to sooner than later, Grandma. She's like, oh, and she hit me and it hurt really bad because she's still really strong. But my great grandma, who is 103, will still, if you give her time, her sour, angry face will start to talk about things that people wronged her when she was in her 20s. I'm like, they're all dead, Grandma. Let it go, woman. She's still mad about it. And we're like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. If you do that today, if you're mad at somebody for not paying up today, for treating you wrong today, what makes today any different than when you're 103? At the core, it's wrong because it isn't life. If real life is this flow, this force of God, if real life is eyes up, hands open, and receiving from God, then at any point that we plant our feet in demand of the world, we will be farther and farther from what God wants. But if any one of us tonight decides, before I leave here, I'm picking up my feet. I'm letting go. I'm picking up I don't care. My eyes are up, my hands are open, I don't care anymore. I want to go wherever God sends me. Then you feel your heart start beating like it's never beat before. Then you feel like I might have just taken my first breath. The moment that you don't see God as an angry father who wants to take your Duplo away, the moment you look at the things you love in life and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You gave me these. Show me how to do them. Show me how to live my marriage. Show me how to date people. Show me how to play sports. Show me how to really work at a job. Show me how to really have a career. Then you know what life is like. Until the moment where you can pick up your feet and just trust him, you can't come alive because he is life. And he's moving and pushing you, and we're just resisting and resisting and resisting. And all the while, he's like, just pick up your dang feet. Just pick them up. Trust me. That's what St. Lawrence was doing. St. Lawrence is like, I don't care, whatever. I'm going wherever God takes me. You're not bringing me anywhere. Yeah, you may have lit the fire. You may have laid me on the coals, but God knew this was coming a long time ago, and I trust him. That's real life. Now, youth, what if I told you we're going to lock the doors, and before you leave here tonight, you're going to make a pact to trust God. God gets to choose who you marry. Wouldn't that be exciting? It got really tense for a second there. What if I was like, before you leave, you're going to make a pact that God gets to decide if you get married? Oh, no, you didn't. Whatever, I don't know what it is. I can't bob my head. What if I said, before you leave here, you're going to tell God, you get to choose my career. I'll go wherever you send me. If that is scary to you, it's because it's your Duplo and you don't trust him. If he's really actually all good, if he really only wants good for you and can't want bad for you, why could you not trust him? With your body, with your career, with your future. Adults, if he's really good and powerful, if he spoke this universe into existence, why can't you trust him with your pocketbook? Why do we grip onto our dollar bills? Why do we lock down? Well, no, I worked hard for that. The church would be like, well, God gave you the ability to have the job, to make it to the job, to work real hard, to make it to the paycheck, to make it to the bank. He did all of that as gift upon gift. What if we started to look at our lives, our bodies, our careers, our hopes, our dreams, our goals, instead of having them out in front of us, if we lumped them all up and tossed them up and said, okay, what do you want me to do with my paycheck? How can I use what you've given me to continue giving? Because here's the deal. If life is gift, if real life is picking up your feet and just going where God takes you, you know when you really come alive? When you start doing the same thing. If God's a giver, you really come alive when you start to give. For real. As soon as you open your wallet and just start to give to people, you see a need and I want to be the one to meet it. Back off, I'm going to be the one to meet the need. As soon as that's you, life starts. Nothing can stop you at that point. As soon as you pick up your feet and you realize every breath that you had today was gift, so every dime you had was gift, and every minute you had was gift. Once that is true, everything changes. You come fully alive. Youth, if you would trust him, if you'll start tonight and say, no, I will. I'll trust you with my school day. I'll trust you to guide me. If I go into the cafeteria and I see somebody alone, I will trust you to bring me to that lonely person. I will reach out like you do. I'll start to meet the needs of the people at my school, in my community, in my home. Everything starts to change when you pick up your feet and start to give. Youth, if you go home tonight and you walk in the door and you're like, hey, can I do a chore? I swear to you, your parents would be like, what did you do? Who did you kill? Where is my real child? Because they don't expect it from you. What if you went home tonight and cleaned your brother or sister's room? Yes, I went there. Oh, what if you went home and did something that people could not fathom why you would do it? You just started to give. Wouldn't that change everything? We have a policy. I've lived all over the world in poor countries. We have a policy. You always give the big bill. Grown-ups in this room, hey, I want to know, when should I stop speaking? I need to know, because I won't stop speaking. I have 10 minutes. We have about 2 hours left. So we have a policy in my family that you always give the big bill. So if you're driving down the street and you see somebody with a cardboard sign and they're asking, you don't make up a story like, oh, they're going to use it on booze or they're druggies or whatever. You don't make up something because you're not a psychic. There's no such thing. Instead, you roll down your window. You say, well, God put all this in here, so I'm going to give the big bill away. What if you're at the grocery store and you see somebody struggling to pay for their things? You open up and you give the big bill. Years ago, we made a decision in my family that if anyone ever asks, you always give the big bill. Because we give $1 and we're like, did you see what I did, God? I got God points for that. I gave $1 to that guy. And God's like, you can't buy a pack of gum for $1 anymore. But it makes you feel really good. But you know what really changes things is when you give the biggest bill you have. Because nobody expects that. We lived in Queens, New York for a year when my wife was doing her rotations, and we got date night. And adults know what it's like to finally get date night. We had these kids, and we're in a postage stamp size apartment in New York City, and we got date night. So we're on the A train into Manhattan. We're gonna go on a date in Manhattan, and we're on the subway, and she's got her legs up on me, and we're like, I'm so in love with you, I love you, because that's what date night is. Just I'm so tired, that sort of thing. And we're sitting here trying to stay awake, and then I hear the change cup jingle, and then I remember that there's a beggar on every train car, on every train in New York City. And then I realized in my wallet, my date night is $40. I had 2 20s for date night in Manhattan for $40. So we were gonna buy a breadstick. Share a breadstick, we'll eat other ends of the breadsticks, like Lady and the Tramp. So I realized in my wallet, I've got 2 20s. And I remember thinking, can I have one night off? Seriously, one night. And so I hear the change cup and I see my wife's eyes go up behind me. And so I look up and there's the guy with the cup. And he says, excuse me, sir. I'm a disability. I've been out of work for 6 years. So I was wondering if you had any change you could spare. I said, oh yeah, absolutely. And I took out and crumpled up half of date night. And I put it in his cup so he wouldn't see what it was. And he walked away. My wife and I went back to talking, and we knew what had happened. We knew that now we're just eating like half a breadstick, and that's fine. So we're going back to talking, and it was about 1.5 minutes later, and I hear the change cup again, and I see her eyes go up behind me, and I'm like, he's coming back for the other 20. I'm so hungry. And so I turn and I look at him, and the whole train car is watching at this point, because they see, dude, he's going back again? The same guy? That guy looks so tired and hungry. And so I look up at him, and he's just standing there. And I mean, everybody was watching, so I kind of nervously was like, hey, can I help you? And he said, yeah, I just wanted to come back and say, I wanted to say thank you. Because what you did, no one ever does that. No one ever gives like that. So I wanted to say thank you, and God bless you. And he started crying, and then he walked away. And my wife and I were alive inside. It didn't matter that we were half a breadstick down. It didn't matter that date night had drastically changed. Why? Because guess what had happened? If you take a step back, here's what had happened. God in heaven said, okay, hey guys, come here, they're going on date night. Come here, yeah, I know he's got $40, it's pitiful. He's going on date night, and I'm gonna put Bob on this train car. Watch what happens. And God knows that if he gives me something, and it makes it into